Welcome, my friends. This is Maniacal Incorporated, and there is a lot of work to be done to stabilize the newly expanded kingdom after the conquest of Upper Quebec. In the last episode, we have a lot of very unhappy vassals. We have a lot of land to hand out. I was thinking of moving the capital to Montreal. There's some nice buildings here, but instead, I'm going to keep the capital where we began, in St. John's. It's a bit of a nuisance, especially with the Holy Orders trying to get the forces out here, but I think it would be wrong. It's been the Newfoundland and Labrador playthrough. I think it would be wrong to move the capital now, but we do have a few territories to hand out in this region. Now I'm going to start with Myrtle Lachlan, the disinherited daughter of the defeated queen of Upper Quebec, or the matriarch, who still rules Upper Quebec, which is there. That's Upper Quebec now. Now she is... What I'm going to do is I'm going to give her two titles. I'm going to give her these two counties, and she's betrothed to a cousin of hers who controls this county. So what I'm going to do, first of all, before giving her anything, we will remove her guardian, which is Prince Sewell, the father of Zachary, who we're going to be seeing in a minute. And Kira will educate Myrtle directly with the hopes that she will become a witch. Now here is Myrtle's former guardian, Prince Sewell. Here is his son, Zachary Lachlan. So we're going to grant Zachary this county here. So it actually borders two of his father's territories, which Zachary is in line to inherit one of them. Zachary was captured in a war at some stage. We got him to convert to Fog Song and turned him into a witch. Now, we're actually fairly limited when it comes to handing out territory to members of the family. The NaGeira family is quite young at the moment. We have a lot of children, and very few people that we can give land to. The big problem is Avalon, which is ruled by Lynn Corrigan, and that is a hefty holding. So we'll say there's a county here I want to give away, and there's a couple over here that I want to give away, and if I give them to vassals of Lynn, that's going to create big problems. Blanche, a distant cousin and caravan master, so she might be departing for that position. I'm going to give her this county here, and hopefully at some stage we might be able to actually hand it over to the ruler of this duchy. Now I have two counties over here that I didn't actually realize. Inverness I'm going to give away. I'm going to keep this one because it's making a bit more money. So here is a distant member of the family, part of the breeding program. Amazonian, married to a distant cousin, or a close cousin, who had the Herculean trait. Their daughter has inherited the Amazonian trait. We don't actually have anyone in the family to marry them off to, and I can't find anyone with the Amazonian trait at the moment. So that's going to just kind of probably hover around in the Benoit family and maybe disappear. So Inverness. And finally, for now, we have Cecil. Cecil, don't be like that to the loathsome Kira. Cecil just staged a peasant revolt. We've put that down. We've imprisoned him, forced him to convert. And now what I'm going to do is grant him this county here. It's not part of the same duchy as Zachary's land and Montreal, so you can have that one. So get some fancy new clothes and a fancy new hairstyle. And suddenly, well, yeah, we're still kind of partially loathsome to him. I'm sure he'll get over that as time goes on. But here, however, are some people whose attitudes will not improve as time goes on. A hefty independence faction aligned against us, including Lynn and Eric. Eric the Third. Eric, you disappointment. Your father was a disappointment. You're not much better now. The major problem is he is a powerful vassal. 22 intrigue. And at the moment, Kira's lover, the father of her youngest daughter and the child she's currently pregnant with. High Chief Angus is down to just 16 on intrigue. So what I'm going to have to do, unfortunately, to try and begin the process of keeping this devil happy, Ruth is stone useless at everything, so she gets nothing. We're going to put in Eric. He still hates us. Now, at the moment, we're trying to sway Lenore, who's also part of that independence faction. But, we're going to abandon it and try to sway the Fisher King, because I need money, and at the moment, he will not give it to me. So, we're going to sway the Fisher King until he gives us money, and then sway Eric. I don't think we're going to get Lenore out of that faction. She paid homage to the court in the last episode, so I began swaying her after torturing her husband. So I can kind of understand why she doesn't like me. But we need to get some money together, because I have a feeling there's going to be some wars, either civil wars or wars of expansion. The last episode also saw the outbreak of the Black Death over on this coast, and it spread rapidly down into South America, up and around the coast, and made it up through Florida and to the borders of the Empire of Canada. Now, we've gone into seclusion, but I think it's fair to say that with the Black Death abating, we can leave and show our face again. Zachary, how could you? Zachary has joined the Independence faction, which is going to fire in 25 months. Conrad is also part of that Independence faction. He is intimidated, however, but he has arrived to give us to pay homage. Same as Lenore, who's part of the faction. I don't trust these people. Show Conrad in at once. Serve me well, Conrad. Serve me well. Now, while we have a very poor relationship with a lot of people over here, we're developing a stronger relationship with our ward, Myrtle. We could try and form a friendship. Because we're arrogant, we would gain some more stress. We'd better not put stress on the baby. We will take this weak hook instead. Well, this doesn't look good. We've inherited the chiefdom that we handed out to Cecil. Our prisoner. What's after happening to the poor man? Ate some poisonous plants by mistake. Oh, Cecil, you goddamn idiot. Now, I'm sure he's still a bit unhappy that we've removed him as our spy master, but Kira's lover, High Chief Angus, has shown up for the birth of his second daughter. Leia hasn't picked up his giant trait, unlike Deborah the giant baby, has instead picked up lisping from somewhere. Hush now, my daughter. And because Kira has mothered many children, she now has a modifier for that, giving +5 general opinion. Now, we have 4 months until this ultimatum goes off, yet we have gotten a few people into approaching positive numbers. Zachary, come on, how could you do this? Who is this? This young chiefess? We could make her the diplomat. Our good friend Punis is in that position at the moment. Our good friend Mad Punis. So let's see if we can put this 16-year-old in charge. And the short answer is no. It has not managed to pull this chiefess out of the Independence faction. Actually, just a randomer that I handed that county out to has now also joined the faction. So I've actually gone and just made it stronger. So it looks like we are heading towards a civil war. And to make things worse, we have failed to sway the Fisher King. -1, you absolute devil. I need that money. Now, even though we need the money, we also have a number of items which are on the verge of being destroyed in the next couple of years. It's going to be expensive to repair them. The sword that we've had for quite a long period of time, however, what I'm going to do with this, instead of repairing it, is reforge it into a pedestal item. It will give us monthly piety, prestige per dread, and natural dread. That's fantastic. Courtier and guest opinion. Nothing really for vassals. Vassal levy contribution. So I'm going to reforge that. It's cheaper to do that. These gemstones give +1 learning and some prestige. We'd better fix some 63 quid. And the guitar pick, you see, dread gain. I'm desperately hoping that we're going to get that money from the Fisher King. If not, we are in a lot of trouble. I'm hoping that he's going to give us that money soon, so we can set up the sword. That's a lot of money to spend on the eve of war. And there we go. My Chancellor, 16-year-old Chancellor, demands independence. I will not be threatened. Now, one of the interesting things about this group, we have Fog Song, we have Lakeshore, 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 Remembrant, Zachary, I'm disappointed in you. Your father, I'm not so disappointed in. We do actually have a couple of Fog Song, but we have a good chunk of people who we should be in a position to call the Holy Order in against. And of course, we're also going to have to, after we rally the troops, we're going to have to come to Maine. I'm sure our cousin / sister-in-law would much rather be at the activity, which I think actually a couple of our knights are at, so this is maybe bad timing. And call her in. So there we go, our empty court. As our Chancellor, Punis, I'm sorry. And as our Spymaster, Angus is there with his 16. Munich is already our steward. We have a 19, but they hate us. We have a 29. Our Caravan Master. This is the member of the Scottish Rite. You know what? Angus, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to raise the forces in Montreal. Ottawa is under siege. We're going to be getting a lot of siege statements. So, yeah. There's a lot of the forces are around this region. Now, we have this army here that's walking around in some direction. So I'd be hoping that we can hit a lot of these smaller armies. I have a feeling... Well, it looks like Angus forgave Kira, and no one must ever know about this. Fair play to her. She's 45. Fair play. And fair play to this idiot for not realizing none of the last 3 children... Well, none of the last 2 children have been his. No one must ever know. And Haley comes of age. They grow up so fast. I don't think she became a witch because she was under the tutelage of Greg. Greg would have made her a witch, but Greg died. God damn it, Greg. They grow up so fast, still kind of being considered for the succession. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Cecil. Of course the child is yours, Cecil. You goddamn idiot. Who do we have in control? Freeman Corish. I have no idea who that is. Of House Corish. They are Grandmaster Taskers. That is a fantastic name. Personal physician. Now, Grandmaster Tasker isn't in charge of the Children of the Moving Tide at the moment. I'm going to send them down there. The Children of the Moving Tide, who I presume have no siege infantry, so is there much of a point in putting... well, they'll decrease the phase time. Morgan, our cousin Morgan, everyone's our cousin Morgan, is sieging down Placentia. So that's the Moving Tide. Seems though they rose up there. We have a chunk of forces moving around Sydney. That's going to be awkward. We have big empty areas here. We have forces coming out from there. Dealing with some of the people around here. This is what we want to try and do. Guys, where are you going? Where are you going? Meet up with the main army down here, damn you. And we have also managed, in that tiny, tiny battle, to take some prisoners. Here is somebody who... Do you know what? Go on. We'll ransom you because I need the money. Pepin. Pepin, you need to be tortured. We gain some prowess. We've managed to catch Eric's army. And we have a new stewardship lifestyle perk. Now we're going to be losing sieges. That's our problem, is what exactly do we do? Do we start sieging down areas, or do we keep trying to chip away at their forces? We do have superior numbers, so it's right up here to another siege, which actually looks like it's going to end shortly. For the perk, I think we're going for the domestic affairs efficiency plus 25. Like I said, I don't really care. Direct vassal opinion plus 10, that'd be handy. I don't really care about most of the stuff here. Getting to honor to serve is the main aim. So, chains of loyalty. So, Huntingdon has fallen. They have unfortunately hit some rebels. Unfortunately for them. So this looks to be one of the major armies. Myrtle has reached the age of knowing. A 67% chance that she will become a witch. Gains 20 opinion of her mother if she becomes a witch. She's not in the best of health. She has become a witch. There are unfortunately some hefty armies wandering around in this area. We would want to have our allies helping us. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. It does look like that's going to happen. If they can get in time to turn the battle, Maine absolutely saved us there. Hell's bells, that was looking bad. And as that major battle ends with a -7% war score, we're not doing great. Sidrak, our son, with Chief Angus is born. Cecil is none the wiser. Hush now, my child, hasn't inherited any positive or negative traits. And we're going to have to try and siege down an area just while it's there. Here we have the United Counties. So this one should be easy enough to siege down. Hopefully, we're seeing a lot of troops heading north. The Fisher King has been swayed and has given us 218 gold. It's better than nothing. We have some fairly heavy expenses, but what is of more interest to us, however, is that all of the enemy forces are heading northwards, and I have a feeling that they are heading for Newfoundland. I was hoping to get the Holy Order out, but unfortunately they've managed to catch us. It's going to be a fairly costly battle, however. We have taken Placentia, so we have a slight bit of a war score advantage at the moment. We're losing a string of sieges around the place, so they're going back to try and siege that down. And the Holy Order, they're going out to see what they can see. We've come ashore. A bit awkward, not the best place. I was hoping to actually meet up with the Holy Order. Duncan, you are damn lucky that you are so beautiful and that you're a witch. Otherwise, you would have been tortured. You will be released. Fabrice, you can stay there, probably to die from your wounds, just like Eugene. No better time than a war for some real estate deals. Grandmaster Tasker of the Children of the Moving Tide wants some land. Sure, take it. I'm actually surprised we hit this army. I wasn't expecting that we would. Maine is coming ashore. I think they're actually bringing their large army down to fight us, which would be absolutely fantastic. If they start sending those in piecemeal, that would be brilliant. They're not too sure what they want to do. Oh, I think we've caught them on the hop. They are causing heavy losses, though. They're not in a position to actually start sending in any more forces. Oh, we're going to lose some development. We're going to lose some development. We've had so many battles here, I'm not entirely sure what is going on. The education of Myrtle is at an end. Poor old Myrtle immediately donning armor to go to war. What's her... Yeah, get out there. Do your best. Kill some members of your family. We have had battle after battle after battle. Cecil, you sadistic devil. That's our son, Cecil. This is the 4th battle that we've had just in this region, and we're back into positive war score. Nancy, the poor woman, who we tortured and then gaslit into believing that we didn't torture. We were trying to sway her for a while. Do you know what? I've swayed the Fisher King. I might very well go back to swaying Nancy. We'll show her in. She's bringing me some money. Nancy, you shouldn't have. So we'll start that scheme. There was another attempt to lift the siege of Placentia, or to remove the siege. They withdrew their forces as they saw us approaching. And we've managed to hand them another defeat. The only problem is, they're down to 3,000 forces. We're always taking risks in these situations because you never know where their forces are actually going to arrive from, or where their forces will suddenly come from. We're going to attempt a naval invasion. I would hope that we have the troops to see it through. Sewell is putting up a solid defense. That is a hefty defeat as more forces were just arriving. Ever so slightly late. We've actually seen our best general, Chieftain Masson, taken prisoner. We have a lot of people to pick from, but some of them aren't great, and it's entirely possible that we're going to have to turn to Chieftain Helmar II, who has just married Myrtle. Now we've managed to pull the forces back from St. John's. Maine, what are you doing? Maine is being weird. Now the problem is that Maine is going in such crazy directions that it's hard to actually keep them on track, which means that our forces are getting kind of hemmed in and chipped away at. And that war score keeps going down. We can't really bring people to bear on the Rebel Alliance, because Maine is going all over the place. Cecil is going to become a witch. And they keep taking territories, and chipping away, increasing that war score. Now we have utterly annihilated the enemy armies. That is at least something of note. And as such, the NaGeira banner has now earned a mark of distinction. It has become a masterwork, as it should be. We have a substantial army just wandering around, being happy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to naval invade Côte Nord. I hope that's what Maine is doing. Maine, what in the good name of God are you doing? See, the problem is they're going to keep bringing forces ashore in Newfoundland. And they've actually brought some forces ashore over there. Solomon, the poor man. What has happened to Solomon? Solomon was slain in battle by Cora Downton. I have no idea who Solomon is even fighting for. I'm not too sure he's in on our side. He's in... no. His wife, they're doing their own thing down there. Well, that's great. Cora, ourselves and Cora will become rivals. House Downton. No, I think we'll just gain the stress. Which means a lot earlier than expected we have to deal with the succession. Who are people thinking of? Our niece Eleanor. Not too sure who that actually is. Robert has a lot of support. As has Robert's son. Well, she has one person supporting her. Morgan has a lot of support. Morgan is 67 and in ill health. Haley is baiting herself up over the death of her uncle. She has the aggressive attacker trait. She is robust. Haley will be nominated for the succession, currently second. And we have been told that our poor vassal, I didn't know, was he married to us or something? His wife was actually just killed in the last battle and his wife was one of our cousins, was killed by another one of our cousins. And Zachary himself has now died under mysterious circumstances. Zachary, the long game that our grandmother played to put you in power in the lands of your father, Prince Sewell. Well, now he has been dumped out of this war. His stone-mad daughter or sister, stone-mad daughter, loves the owl grapes, is now leading 123 troops. We're also being told that Lynn Corrigan has left the war. Lynn, I would imagine, is one of the major powers. Lynn controlled Placentia. Keeping Lynn in the war and taking some goddamn land off of her was actually the one thing that I was looking forward to. Well, this complicates matters massively. I have no idea what has driven her out of the war, or how she even managed to get out. I didn't allow this. How's this place involved? I purposefully left this place. Did somebody conquer the king of this place? Damn you all to hell. In the midst of a war which is on the verge of tearing the kingdom apart, Robert has decided to hold another grand rite, presumably to bring important family members together after the death of Solomon. Do you know what? We'll attend. Because I think this is actually the entirety of the rebel alliance here now, sieging down. We're actually ahead of them. So if we can siege that area and then head across, Haley has now been nominated as the new successor. Now, I wonder, will this make marriage options better for her? No is the short answer. Okay, we have sieged down what I believe is the capital of this rebellion. We have 5,000 troops. We could naval invade their main forces. We're gonna suffer a penalty. Will Maine come with us? No. Juliana, there's a name we haven't heard in a while. Juliana Clocodile has... I have no idea what she's doing. She has a secret. What could the secret be? Disputed heritage. Hell's bells. That is absolutely shocking. I wonder who the father could be. I wonder. Didn't gain the broken egghead trait. So I think that's the second time we've learned this secret. Somerset, the Gothic, is dead. So House Clocodile is just, I don't know what it's up to. And after Angus discovering that our husband's lover had disputed children, I don't know what's gotten into Angus. Maybe he's upset that we removed him briefly as spymaster. Maybe he's upset that he's in a mask. Maybe he's upset that he has 3 extra kids that he can't really visit. He has decided to dump Kira. How will I go on without his love? Well, at the moment, we have the army parked up, waiting for the disembarkation penalty to evaporate. We're at the Grand Rite, experimenting with herbs with our cousin. That's entirely how we might get over the loss of Angus. I think it only makes sense that we would ask whoever the hell this is to instruct us in the art of scheming now that we have lost our lover, the father of 3 of our 5 children. The divils, the absolute divils, they're heading out to sea. I don't know if we can get in time. I don't know if we can actually get in time. Do we have anybody that would help us to move faster? I don't think so. For that perk, Divine Retribution. Do not lose piety from torturing or executing others. The numbers here don't look good. We have more soldiers. We have more men-at-arms counter, but we're going in against some defensive buildings, a better army commander, more traits. They have a much smaller army. I think this is it. I think this is the entirety of the Rebel Alliance. I'm not too sure we'll hit them. We have Maine coming in, though. There we go. We've managed to hit them. They are doing very well. Ransford. There's a name we haven't seen in a while. That's it, Kira. There's more fish in the sea. Don't you worry. There's more fish in the sea. We might gain wounded. We'll just lose some stress. I know we have a chunk of it. Oh, and that is a hefty defeat. Ruth. Who the hell is Ruth imprisoned by? Lonnie of Bonavista. So Ruth, I think, was our court chronicler, even though she was being bold. So that's actually a separate war. I was wondering, like, did it just both of them fire off at the same time? Yeah, there's a bit of an argy-bargy going on up here that we can't do a whole heap about. What we can do a whole heap about is get likable, direct vassal opinion, plus 10. So I think that's better than the tyranny one. Vassals are less likely to join independence factions. We could have definitely done with that one. We have a ton of pop-ups, including one that tells us that we have some new prisoners. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Prince Sewell, I think it is very fitting that you will be the first to be tortured without any negative penalties. And you know what? Sewell has... I would hate for him to die in prison. He's willing to tell us that he's an embezzler. Embezzler? I hardly know her. Intriguing. Take him back to his cell. He still hates me, though. This mayor... Do you know what? You'll get to be tortured, so instead you'd better have some good secrets. The armies are raised and I have a ton of money. I'm not going to listen to the likes of you. We're going to refuse this demand from the peasant uprising. We don't need to rally the troops. They are already rallied. I'm not going to lie. I'm only just after realizing that's a baseball cap. Cecil, our son, our little witch, has come of age, become a grey eminence. There's a hefty army here, and it's withdrawing out to sea, so I'm going to allow it. And I am pulling the main army out. I could possibly leave the Holy Order behind. I'm going to bring it down to hit the peasant rebellion in Huntingdon and probably try to siege down one or two areas and see if that'll bring this war to an end. Do no more than is necessary for ill Queen Kira. There we go. While performing his duties as my spy master, High Chief Angus has uncovered a secret held by my rival. Don't tell me that Ransford is Cecil's child. Did I torture Ransford? No, Ransford, I think we tortured your father. I can't remember who I tortured. Ransford was in our prison once. Ransford, you're looking great. Well done. You're looking well. You've been going on a bit of an owl pilgrimage. Fair play to you. So I've actually opted to prevent the invasion in this direction. What is this? Lower Quebec is prepared to pay us 160 gold to form a truce. This would allow us to focus our efforts on Ontario. Do you know what? I'm going to accept that. I actually thought it was maybe somebody trying to wrangle their way out of this war. I've decided to come back. They were trying to take back this territory. This is what's winning the war for us. Chiefess Nichette, who absolutely hates us. It's somebody, I think, in her family who's causing all this trouble. She wants to give us 50 gold. That is fantastic. Thank you very much. I'd say we're 6%. 6 ticks. All you had to do was hold on another 6 ticks. All you had to do was hold on. But you didn't. I was just about to start saying that I'm sending the army through to try and conquer this region, and it's entirely possible that the war will have come to an end by then. Independence War. Enforced demands. What do we get? We get dread. That's the main thing. Tons of criminals. Tons of stuff. Well, 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 look at this for a full prison that we have. We have a ton of people in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretty much the lower down vassals that have just a single county each, their chiefs. I'm going to ransom this one out, Antoinette, the daughter of Zachary, because she has already converted to Fog Song. We're going to leave you there until you make some more money. Lenore, we will negotiate her release if she converts, and we get a wee cook. So I'm going to do the same for the rest of them. Eric and Nichette. Nichette especially. So has a territory here and here. Those two are going to be revoked and handed out. And Eric, I think, has... What has Eric got? Eric has 2 counties. That's a county too many, Eric. You can't be trusted. You can't be trusted to have... It's his alliances, mostly. He has no alliances. Bold, Eric. Bold. We're going to take some land off of you and give it to one of your siblings. That's a great idea. Now, this is very unfortunate. Conrad of the Three Rivers, who actually paid homage to us, gave us some prestige, will not accept conversion because he is zealous. Oh well, Conrad, oh well. Looks like you will get to stay there for another while. So we have a distant family member. I just gave you land, and the first thing you did was rebelled against me. Well, now you have to give me money. Now that's all been taken care of. I retracted a vassal here from Côte Nord and gave them to this high chiefdom. The land down here was taken away and was given to Tanine Bacon, the son of the current chiefess. So he's now a vassal of his mother, but he wasn't going to inherit any land. So this is her only county. Eric the Devil, I took one of his counties off of him and gave it to his brother and made him a vassal. Sewell had 2 counties. I've left them to him, but I've demanded that he converts. And so everything should be some way stable now. Of course, the major problem... Well, it's not a major problem. It's a tiny problem. Lynn in Avalon. What happened there? She abdicated. In the middle of a war that she started, she abdicated, possibly because she saw how badly it was going. Now, her 5-year-old son, with 700 troops to his name, is the ruler of Avalon. I think we're going to see some retractions. I think I can retract whatever the hell I want, because he's a baby. He's a baby. It's an act of tyranny. Well, we'd better hold on for a while. Will not accept. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, baby? What are you going to do? And finally, we are in a position, after spending so long over our domain limit, we are in a position to come to Chieftain Helmar. He hates me. I think he took command of the armies for a while. Here is his wife, Myrtle. And we can grant her, do you know what? You can have Huntington. It's a nuisance. Poor old Prince Sewell, being strung up in the prison and forced to reveal that he is an embezzler. Here are all of the claims that he has, that we could go to war with some, maybe his niece, I'm not too sure. The clan of Ontario, the clan of Upper Quebec, a ton of high chiefdoms, the lordship of Lakefront. There is a ton of places that Sewell claims, and now he's reduced to 2 counties and the Fogsong Faith. Now, unfortunately, we didn't conquer any land on this episode, but I think it's fair to say that we have managed to break the back of any future potential alliance against us. The amount of people who cannot join factions, some of the most powerful people in the future empire. We're now, for the next 15 years, in a truce with Lower Quebec. I would like to have gotten that bit of land there. We can take Quebec, but we're going to have to direct our attentions again to Upper Quebec and to the handful of counties in that region. Again, the ruler, matriarch Frederica, she is quite strong, she is quite powerful. She's gotten her numbers back. Having had for a while only a single county, she's gotten her numbers back, so we need to keep that alliance with Maine going, because nobody else wants to sign any type of an alliance with us at the moment, or with our heir, Haley. We have an alliance, a potential alliance to the kingdom of Hudsonia, but that's not really going to work out. So we might have to see what we're going to have to do to try and get something even vaguely resembling an alliance. Do you know what? Hudsonia would be interesting. So we'll have to check about what we're going to do there. This episode is going to be a bit shorter because, unfortunately, I have started a new job. So that's making recording. It was already haphazard in the past. It's going to be a bit more haphazard going forward. And I had a couple of problems getting this going today. So there's been a major patch out of recent, which means that I need to roll back to the previous patch. Every once in a while when CK3 updates, I have to roll back to the actual last working patch to keep everything going. But we're going to have to continue on if Kira keeps it together, if she stays alive. Because we still have about 40 counties that we need to conquer. And then hopefully we can convince Lower Quebec to become vassals, and we will be able to establish a unified Empire of Canada. There is still a lot more work than I expected to go. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I hope that you will join me on the next one, because you can still rebel against the crown.